Okay, hello, Classical Archives audience. Today it's my absolute privilege and thrill to have our guest today, the tenor Javier Camarena, one of the most wonderful singers in the world today. And he's just been on a tour and doing all kinds of wonderful things. So it's a great joy to welcome you to Classical Archives, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here with you.
Okay. So before I start talking with you about your new Sogno project surrounding those songs of Tosti. I wanted to ask a few preliminary questions, if I may.
Okay.
Um, where are you from originally, and how did you begin to sing? Did you begin at a very young age?
Well, I am from Jalapa, Veracruz, Mexico. Um, this is a small city. Well, it's not that small anymore, but beautiful, beautiful city with a lot of cultural history. We have there in our city the very, very first symphonic orchestra ever created in Mexico, La Orquesta Sinfónica de Jalapa. And yes, there's a lot of tradition for music, for art. Um, they are calling my city the Veracruzan Athens. So yeah, it is a beautiful place, and I grew up there. From my side, I always was fascinated by sound, by music, and I began to study singing when I was 19 years old. Um, that was after 2 years, two very, very awful years trying to study as an engineer, and I didn't achieve anything with that. I was not motivated by this career, and I dropped it, and I began to study music, which was my biggest life passion. So yeah, my idea was studying music. Had no idea about singing, no idea about opera, but I wanted to study music, and as the age is also a requisite for beginning a career in music, the one that I had to cover all the requisites also in age was singing. So I began like that, and just step by step, like discovering many things about the the studies and the career. I just realized after listening to a recording, I remember it was in an Italian class. My Italian professor uh, took a laser disc with a recording from the Metropolitan Opera in New York. This production that they still have, I think it's Zeffirelli's production, the one from Turandot, and it was Placido Domingo and Eva Marton singing Turandot, and I was like, yeah, it blew up my mind, and it was like, what is this? And suddenly, every single vocalize, every single warming up, every single exercise to try to find sound with the voice, everything had a reason, and I just wanted to pursue the career of singing as a solist. And yeah, this was back in 2000. No, it was 1995. Yeah.
Okay. Were, were there musicians in your family, or was this brand new in your family?
Not professional musicians. My father used to play guitar, and he liked to play along and sing. But it was more like a hobby, or something to just be chilling with the
Mhm.
family.
And so, where did you actually study singing, and who were you studying with? I'm just curious.
I began in the music faculty from university in Veracruz, la Facultad de Música de la Universidad Veracruzana. And my first professor was mezzo soprano. She was she's still, I think she's still singing in the choir from this institution. Her name is Cecilia Perfecto, and she was my very, very first professor. After her, after studying with her, I moved to another city, so I had many other, well, at least 3 or 4 more professors. But all my studies in vocal technique and basis of singing, it was always in Mexico.
Very interesting. So let me ask you a little bit about the Sogno project and the songs of Tosti. When did you discover that repertoire?
Oh, I think it was really right from my early years as a student. That's for sure. And I tried to remember which one was the first song I studied and I sang from Tosti. But I cannot remember which one was, and it's funny because I absolutely remember even the day and the mood I had the day. And I was still in Veracruz, in Jalapa, and I was at my room, and I had this a collection of songs, Italian songs, and it has some recordings from Di Stefano and Corelli, Pavarotti, Bergonzi, and I remember Joseph Carreras singing Non t'amo più, and it was like, this is so beautiful song, so beautiful music. And then Ramon Vargas, that was the very first album I remember. That was the very, very first CD I bought with my money, and it was the album from Ramon Vargas, Canzoni, and I listened to that recording many, many times. But the very song that really touched me always was Ideale, also from Francesco Paolo Tosti. And then on, I remember Pavarotti with Mare Chiare, and all these Bergonzi with all these beautiful albums with orchestral arrangements from Tosti songs. I'm just trapped by the music, by apparently simple music and simple songs, which are so rich in terms of interpretation and expression possibilities, that I from many years I really wanted to work on a project dedicated to his music. And now it's almost, I think, 13 years that I am collaborating and working with Angel Rodriguez, my pianist. And since almost the very first time we worked together back in 2011, we were talking about a project dedicated to Tosti. And as it has been one of my priorities in doing these recordings, right from Contrabandista, which was an album dedicated to Manuel Garcia, and also now with Pentatone Signor Gaetano, which is an album dedicated also to Donizetti, is not to present to the audiences the same things that every single other singer sings. I mean, what use can we have? I mean, we enjoyed, of course, and I enjoy to sing Avuchella, for example, which is one of the most known songs from Tosti. I enjoy it so much, but there's so many other things. He composed nearly 500 songs, and to just bring his whole work to a couple of, maybe a dozen of songs, it is not fair. And that was also from Donizetti, who wrote almost 70. I think there's a catalog with 75 songs, 75 operas, and we know what, like 10.
Right. Yeah.
It is just, there's so much more, and there's so much richness and beauty in so many other songs, in this case from Tosti, that I wanted to present a little bit, because I mean 500 is a lot, but we try to make a nice collection of the works from Tosti. And we have in Sogno, of course, we have the well and beloved songs from him, like Vorrei morire, Non t'amo più, Avukella, I said before, Aprile, but we have these beautiful, beautiful jewels of his songs in French, in language, also the songs in English, and from the Italian repertoire, also some other things which are amazing and beautiful, and also Chitarrata Abruzzese, for example, it was a song he wrote for Enrico Caruso. These surprises, when we were trying to find the repertoire, everything was really settled for having this recording, and I'm very proud of it.
Well, I would be too. I think that I have the feeling that Tosti is underappreciated as a composer. Don't you
Yes,
think?
of course, and you know, even so, because it is not like a, let's say, recognized style, even in Italy. You know, he was more famous in his time in London when he was based, and he was much more successful there than in Italy. Because I mean, he was, in terms of composing, he was at the same period, at the same time that Verdi was there doing these beautiful operas. It was the beginning of Puccini arriving to the opera world, and all the background of the bel canto composers. So he found in this romanza di salotto, this kind of new style, in a much more, let's say, kind and easy to recognize in melodies, and you know, he found this fountain of creativity, and it was also a time, we have to remember that, I mean, back then in London, and in the world, there was no TV, there was no radio, there was no, you know, nothing for entertainment. So families had a piano at home. So he wrote these songs for the possibility of the people to have the scores and play it at the piano and sing along all together. So I think this is fantastic. There are so many songs which, I mean, for example, this Sogno album begins with a collection of collaborations with Gabriele D'Annunzio, who was a very famous librettist, and he worked hand to hand with Verdi, for example. And he has this Quattro Canzone d'Amaranta, the four songs from Amaranta, from four Amarantas songs, which is really beautiful, beautiful poetry. And the music goes with this, and we can actually, I really can say that this can be like the Italian lied, for example, right? Of course, there's some other songs more in the side of the popular songs, like Chitarrata Abruzzese, Apri, more like folk kind of songs, Marecchiare, which is another classic from him. But there are so many others, like the French songs, which are also very musically speaking, a little bit more profound. And both songs that we recorded here in Sogno, the both English songs, Because of You and the first valse, are so. I mean, you listen to those songs, you place it in a recital, and you don't say they are Tosti. People will never even guess that they are songs from Tosti. It's so versatile and so different to anything. It's much, I think, is much more closer to actual musical, you know, the contemporary musical songs than you know, the songs in his time. So back then, this kind of style was not like recognized like a high level music. and it's a shame. It really, really is a shame because, as I said, it has so many beautiful, beautiful compositions, and I hope that this recording brings a little bit of justice to this composer that is so underrated, as you mentioned before.
And tell me too about, I know it's not your exploration of Tosti is not only in the CD, but concerts as well. So can I ask you about that and where you've done Sogno concerts? And I'm hoping that some of them might be coming to the United States, but I'll ask you
I
about
hope
that.
so. I hope so. I would love to, and I'm I'm so sure that people in United States will enjoy it so much. Um, we just began a tour here in Spain. We did a concert now in Palau de la Música Catalana in Barcelona and also in Girona, both in Catalonia. And it has been really beautiful to be a witness of how exciting the Tosti music can be. It is we present almost the whole album in one recital. We have 22 songs, recorded. One is exclusively for Apple Music, which is Non T'amo Più. So the CD is 21 songs. We do 20 in the concert, including the encores. So we were presenting the whole album live, and as I said, it has been really satisfying to witness how exciting and how much people enjoy all these songs. It has been really, really nice experience. So I hope it continue to be with the next 5 concerts we have ahead.
And you mentioned Signor Gaetano, right? So you have this. Is this out yet? Is this CD available? Is this coming? And...
Yes, this was last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but yeah, it was last year that we had Signor Gaetano available, launched. I think it was October, November, 2 years ago, 2022. We recorded this album in Bergamo, Italy. It's the hometown from Donizetti, and it was so amazing. Also, for me, it was very a nice dream to do this compilation because, as I mentioned before, Donizetti wrote almost 75 operas, and we know a few. And there's so much beautiful music and exciting music. And I wanted to do this collection, and lucky me, to the project, they came along with me. First of all, Pentatone was very interested in doing this project, and then was also the interest from the Donizetti Foundation in Bergamo, Italy, who are managing the festival. Festival Donizetti back there, there in Bergamo. So they were very excited about the project. So I had the possibility of doing a recording for music, Donizetti music, in his hometown, in Teatro Donizetti, with the orchestra from the theater and the choir from the theater. So I think it's, these things in destiny. It was meant to be, and we had at the end a beautiful project dedicated to his Italian part of music, and not bringing, like as I mentioned before, not the same. It's not the idea of doing Una furtiva lágrima because the audiences love it, and there's the well-known, but we have so many other things. Marino Faliero, for example, is one of the most challenging things I have ever seen in my life, and I had the chance to doing this recording in the original key that was made for for Rubini, but doing it with the actual vocal technique, which is completely different. So it's even more challenging, if I can say, if I may say. But we have Marino Faliero, we have Caterina Cornaro, we have Elisabetta, Regina d'Inghilterra. There are so many other not well-known works from Donizetti, which are also amazing and exciting. And I am also very, 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 very proud of this recording. It has a lot of recognitions already from critics, and yeah, very proud of it also.
Fabulous. Yeah. You know, I'm dying to ask, you know, when you're moved from Donizetti to Bellini to Rossini, you know, what's the experience? How is the experience different singing the works of these three composers? And also, of course, I realize that might be a dumb question because, I mean, different Rossini
No,
operas
I mean,
are so different.
they are the three pillars from bel canto style. So a tenor with the characteristics of my voice, of course, it has to do all these all this repertoire. I am a Donizetti fan. I mean, from all three, Donizetti is one that always has fit my voice much more comfortably than any others. Of course, I have enjoyed, for example, Puritani in the Bellini repertoire. I adored Barbiere di Siviglia, which is an opera I don't sing anymore, but I still sing in Cenerentola, which is also one of my favorite operas to sing. And it has been challenging in every one of them, because they are, even if it's bel canto, I mean, it's much more close to bel canto, the style from Donizetti and Bellini than Rossini. But it has its challenges. For me, Rossini, for example, is a very vertical way of singing, because he has these jumps, you know, these intervals, and you have to be always very careful to try to keep the voice in this very high position in order to go through all these demands of singing. And then we have Bellini, who also at the same time with Donizetti were doing different kind of operas. Sometimes you can find subtle similitude. That's a word. Similarities. Yeah. Between the way of they were writing, but of course we find a very elegant way, very much more horizontal way of melody with Bellini, and of course the beauty in the music from Bellini. That makes the challenge also a little bit in Donizetti, but I'm going there. Bellini is always like melody for the voice, absolutely naked, you know, the soul is there, and it's very exposed. Sonambula, you know, we have that begins the horn, and then you have to repeat all this melody with a very quiet base of harmony done with you. You are very exposed. And the thing with Donizetti, and I tried to show this in Signor Gaetano, like the chronology and the development of his way of working and composing, we can find early works when he was still under let's say supervision of Rossini. So you find a lot of like Rossini style in some of the arias. Also we find also the structure, the recitative, the cavatina and cavaletta, and then we find this very clear the Rossini style. So as time goes by and he begins to be his own, let's say, owner, and he creates his own style, then we find so many other beautiful things. And he also had this amazing, I think it's fascinating time when the tenor voice changed. When he was composing music, it was the very first time that the tenors were beginning to do this change in technique and having the high C as we know it now with Dupré was the very first one, and Donizetti had this chance of writing music for tenors as Rubini, which is very high and very light kind of way of singing, and then he finds this new technique, and then we find so many other works like already like Lucia di Lammermoor, La Favorite, which was one of the big opera hits from Dupré, which is a tenor with another possibilities, vocal possibilities. I think that's why I'm much more comfortable with him, not trying to keep the voice always in this kind of point, very hold it in the high register of the voice. But I mean, I have been enjoying so much. Well, some operas more than others, but in general, every single challenge I found with these three composers has been really a very enlightening challenges, and have helped me grow as an artist, as a singer.
It's interesting. You're thinking about these questions on a very deep level, so that's good. You're not just opening singing, so that's exciting. And so now, correct me if you're wrong, you're kind of moving into more Verdi, like Traviata and things like that, or?
Yeah, I go step by step. I'm not very eager to go change. Verdi, I just have incorporated added two titles, like more lyric ones. As you mentioned, Traviata, Rigoletto are like the ones that are now in my repertoire. I did Falstaff, but I mean, Fenton is still like a bel canto role. So that's happening with Verdi. I am doing now, and I think I will be doing much more now, Romeo from Romeo and Juliet, Gounod. I'm still singing Bizet's Pearl Fishers.
Right.
And yeah, it is a little bit more lyric, but still in this, let's say, bel canto side. I'm doing Lucia de Lammermoor as well. This season, I just did Romeo, I did Rigoletto. Now next opera engagements are L'Elisir d'Amore, La Fille du Régiment, La Cenerentola, and the Rigoletto comes a little bit more frequent for the next seasons. But I mean, I'm still in this part, not changing completely my repertoire. As I said, I'm not eager or too ambitious for going to that for that part. I just go step by step. and
Very nice. Yeah.
most of all respecting my voice and possibilities.
Any Italianas coming up?
No, I'm not
No?
doing Italiana anymore from like years now. I
Oh,
think
really?
my last Italiana in Algeria was maybe 2014 in Vienna. Yeah, I have not done Italiana in Algeria for so long. And I don't think I will take the role again.
Mm.
Yeah. Barbiere di Siviglia, that I would love to do at least, sometime for all time's sake. I would like it because I really enjoyed it very much. The thing is that I reached a point that I was doing it so much that it was not exciting anymore, and I was like, it's boring to do Barbiere di Siviglia again. So yeah, I have not seen Barbiere in 6 years now, but it would be interesting. I would like to try it. Maybe.
There's so many wonderful comic situations and things apart from singing, this from an
Yeah,
act- from an acting point of view, it's fabulous.
yeah, and but it is so well written, and I think it just, of course, it's one of the Rossini's masterpieces. But the fascinating is that if you have a good director, you can do a delicious comedy because you laugh about all the situations. You don't need to do, like, as we say in Mexico, the comedy for like cake comedy, like cake in the face comedy.
Right.
Uh, you laugh about the situations. You laugh about what is happening to them, and as an actor, you have to play everything that is happening as serious as life, because actually the characters, they don't know they are living a comedy,
Sure. And
so
that's what makes it funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Boy. Let me ask. So we started out at one point we were talking about your family when you were a child. So let me ask, where do you live now? If you've got a family and a couple of kids, right?
Yes, I moved 1.5 years ago from Zurich to Malaga. Now we live in Spain, uh, close to the sea, with a beautiful weather. We found a house here, so we bought a house, and I moved here with my family, my wife, and my two kids, which are not kids anymore. My daughter will be 20 years old in a couple of months. My son just had his birthday December 30th. So he's now 14 years old. And yes, we are now living here in Spain. The change has been really nice, and yes, we are enjoying a lot to be here now.
Are your kids musical?
They are
Not
both musical.
professional. Yeah.
They both have. I mean, yes, they both have beautiful voices. My son is now, 14 years old, so he's like, uh, goofy speaking, like, oh yeah, but
Yeah.
but they are very, very, very
Okay.
musical, have very good ear. My daughter is taking singing lessons. My son, with my wife, he's guitarist, and also she play piano, so he's taking lessons with mom. And yes, they enjoy music also a lot.
Wonderful. So let me ask too, for those of us in the New York area, what's coming up for you in the New York area? What's
Um, well, for we are now beginning 2024, so for this season, I don't have anything with the Met. I mean, I will be in Chicago for the beginning of the season.
terrific?
So August, September, I will be there. I cannot say yet what I'm doing, but it's going to be exciting also. And it's going to be my first time in Chicago, so it's going to be interesting. With the opera, I have been there in Harris Theater for doing a couple of concerts, but that will be the first time in singing opera. So I'm very happy and excited about it. And I think for the second part of the season, I will be at the Met. But this will be, of course, 2025. And there are coming exciting projects with the Met, so I hope everything goes fine and I will be able to reach them.
Well, we'll certainly be excited to have you back.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Met. I think is if not the favorite, one of the favorite theaters for me to sing. I love it. It's amazing, and just being there is like it was my Everest for my career, and now it's almost wow. It was also 2000. My debut was also 2011, I think. So not only reach the how you say reach the top of this amazing mountain, but actually staying there and coming back frequently has been one of my biggest satisfactions in life. I love the theater. I love the audiences. They are always very grateful. And it's also an amazing place for work. Yes, I'm always very, very happy to come back to New York. And sing for all of you.
New York is always very pleased to have you at the Met.
Thank you very much.
So we've come up to 40 minutes, which is a good length for an interview. So let me ask, is there anything else you would like to talk about? Any other?
Well, January 19th, it's less than a week. We will have the launch. No, how do you say in English? It's going to be out the Sogno album. We will have the complete album in digital platforms, and we also have the physical CD. I'm sure they will have it in the Met store. I'm sure they have already Signor Gaetano there. So if you are and all people is interested in know a little bit more about these two composers, those are two. Maybe it's wrong that I say because they are my albums, but they are very good options to know a little bit more about their work. The music are so beautiful. So I hope everybody enjoys these albums as much as I did recording them.
Fabulous. Okay, well, I wish you a good rest of the day. Hopefully with your children and somewhere where it's warmer than it is in the United States right now. So
yeah, it's fresh. It's not cold as there, but it's nice weather. Even if it's winter, it's not so cold. So yeah, we're enjoying.
We have snow today in New York. So
wow. Well, have a nice day.
Okay. Yes, you too. Okay, well, I can't thank you enough, really. I know our audience will be just thrilled to hear you talk about these topics. So, and
thank you very much.
And best of luck with all your new projects.
Thank you. Have a nice day and all the best for Classical Archives.
Okay. Thank you so much. This has been just wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Libiamo negli eti carici che la bellezza infiora e là fuggeva l'ora s'inebria voluta liviane dolci fremiti che suscita l'amore poiché quell'occhio al cuore onnipotente amor fra i carici più pali ma ci avrà quando non sa mia ancora.
Maldita che l'ignora.
È il mio destin così.